Welcome to the world of science fiction Neon's Alien. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from Neon's Alien universe. The twin suns of Valter 6 hung low in the sky, bathing the city of Myrax Hold in warm orange light. Shops were closing. Market robots swept the streets. Alien children played in the dusty alleys while their parents watched with tired eyes. Everything looked peaceful. But beneath the calm, something dark moved. Rumors said pirates had been spotted near the outer rim. The people were nervous, the local guards stayed alert. Still, no one expected him. A small cargo shuttle landed just before sunset. It made no sound, no announcement, no name on its side. It stepped a human, older, tall, with gray hair and a short beard. One eye was covered by a patch. A faded jacket hung from his shoulders. He walked with a slight limp and carried no bags. No one knew his name, but everyone noticed how quiet the street became when he passed. At the town inn, the alien manager frowned. No credits, no room. The human placed a single coin on the desk. It wasn't Valtorian currency, but the manager looked at it, then looked at the human's face. Something in those eyes made him pause. He picked up the coin and gave the man a room key. Top floor. Last door. The human nodded. No smile. No words. That night, a group of young alien guards laughed in the tavern next door. "Did you see him?" one said. "Like an old ghost." Another laughed. "Earth sends children to war. Maybe this one forgot to die." They all laughed. But the bartender, an older Valtorian woman, didn't. She just whispered, "Careful who you laugh at. Old humans don't come here for fun." At midnight, the peace shattered. Alarms rang across Myrax Hold. Pirates. Black ships. Descended fast, no warnings, no mercy. Plasma bolts tore through buildings. Security drones exploded mid-air. Alien guards tried to hold their ground but were outgunned. The pirates landed in the market square, shouting in 3 languages, "Bring your gold, your tech, or we burn this city." Panic spread. People ran. Lights flickered. Fear took over. But one man did not move. The human stood at the edge of the square, watching calmly. No armor. No weapon. Just watching. A pirate spotted him. "Old man, drop your boots or lose your legs." The human didn't move. The pirate raised his blaster. A second later, the pirate hit the ground. Unconscious, arm twisted backward, weapon gone. Though other pirates blinked, the human was already gone. In the next 5 minutes, 6 pirates fell. One was dragged into an alley and left hanging upside down by his boots. Another was locked inside a trash unit, screaming for help. A third was knocked out with his own blaster. Cameras caught nothing, only quick flashes, shadows, silence, and then an old human limping past, adjusting his jacket. At the guard station, the alien commander shouted orders. "We need backup. Call Central Command." Just then the door opened. The old human stepped inside. "You," the commander yelled. "You interfered." The human said nothing. "You're not part of our force. You have no authority here." The human finally spoke. "Just 5 words. I'm retired. That's your problem." The commander blinked. "Retired from what?" The human stepped past him and looked at the holomap of pirate positions. He pointed at 3 red dots. "They're guarding the ship's reactor. Take those out, and the rest scatter." The commander hesitated. "How do you—" The human didn't wait. He walked out, grabbed a stun baton from a broken wall rack, and vanished into the smoke. 30 minutes later, the pirate ship lifted off without warning. Half the crew was missing. Systems were failing. They jumped to warp in panic, leaving stolen tech and injured raiders behind. The city of Myrax Hold was saved, but no one saw how. At dawn, as the smoke cleared, the alien commander stood in the square. He turned to the tavern, where the human now sat sipping black coffee. "Who are you?" the commander asked. The human didn't look up. He just replied, "Name's Cole Mercer. I used to wait for orders." Then he stood. "And now I don't." The commander watched him walk away. The guards whispered his name. The colonists stared, and Across Valtor 6, one quiet truth began to spread like fire. Earth's retired soldiers don't stop fighting. They just stop asking permission. The day after the pirate attack, the city of Myrax's hold was still in shock. There were no funerals, no burned homes, no missing civilians. Somehow, no one died, but no one could explain how. The guards claimed the pirate ship left in a panic. The council said the defense systems held, but everyone knew that was a lie. The truth whispered through the markets and alleys like wind. It was the old human. In the security tower, Commander Brawl Voss sat at his desk, frowning at the blurry footage. Street cams showed only glimpses, a flash of motion, a boot kicking a weapon, a pirate collapsing. No clear face, just a shadow with gray hair and calm hands. He pressed a button. Pull everything on the human visitor. I want his name, his past, his reason for being here. Minutes later, his assistant, Lieutenant Vetra, returned with a data pad. She looked shaken. This is all we could find. Brawl took the pad and read aloud. Name: Cole Mercer species. Human origin. Earth military status. Retired clearance level. Locked service. Record: restricted combat reports. Classified: Earth Special Forces. Unit the Rougeau 17. Last recorded rank: NA. Notes: operates without command post-retirement. Directive: do not interfere unless authorized by Terran command. Brawl's eyes narrowed. This is all? Vetra nodded. Everything else is blacked out. Even the Alliance archives are blocked. Brawl leaned back, unsettled. No rank, no badge, and yet everyone stands out of his way. He looked at the final line again. Do not interfere. Meanwhile, Cole Mercer sat alone in the open-air cafe across the street from the council building. He drank black coffee, same as the day before, same as always. Aliens passed by, whispering, staring. Some nodded politely. Others crossed the street. Cole didn't seem to notice, or maybe he didn't care. Young Valtorian reporter named Rensu approached cautiously, recording drone hovering above. Excuse me, sir. May I ask you a few questions? Cole glanced at the drone, then at Rensu. No. The reporter blinked. Just a small interview. People want to know, how did you stop the pirates? Cole sipped his coffee. I didn't stop them, he said. I just got in their way. But Cole raised a hand. You want to report something? He nodded toward the security tower. Report that your council didn't see the attack coming, that your guards weren't trained for real violence, that your people were lucky I was already here. Rensu shut off the drone. He didn't ask again. Back in the council chamber, heated arguments filled the air. We can't let one man act without authority. He saved us, but he's unregistered. He fought like 10 soldiers. Commander Brawl stood and raised his voice. He has no badge, no clearance. But he walks like he owns the street. That's not safety, that's uncontrolled force. An elder counselor, Sorva Del, tapped her claw gently on the table. You misunderstand, Commander. Brawl turned. How? She looked toward the window where Cole sat calmly in the cafe. On most worlds, a retired soldier is a quiet man. But on Earth, retired means something else. She met Brawl's eyes. It means no more chains, no more waiting, just choice. That evening, Brawl stood outside the cafe. Cole looked up. Commander, he said with a small nod. Brawl didn't sit. I read your file, what little I could. Cole didn't answer. So I'll ask directly. Why are you here? Cole took another sip. Because I like the view. You expect me to believe you just vacationed on a frontier world? Cole set the cup down. I didn't come for a fight, Commander, but I don't walk away from one either. Brawl frowned. You disarmed a dozen pirates. They were noisy, Cole replied. I was trying to drink in peace. Silence stretched between them. Then Brawl asked the one question no one else dared. Why don't you carry a weapon? Cole looked him dead in the eye. Because I don't need one. Later that night, the official Valtorian security file was quietly updated. Cole Mercer, human, retired. Status: do not approach without request. Note: no confirmed kills, no confirmed injuries. All targets neutralized. All damage minimal. All threats removed. Behavior suggests restraint. Extreme caution advised. Across Valtor 6, people began to say one thing. He wears no badge, but even the stars seem to follow his orders. The people of Myrax's hold were trying to return to normal. Shops reopened. Guards walked their rounds again. School bells rang on time. But something had changed. The streets were quieter. The stairs were longer. And at every corner someone asked, "Where's the human?" Cole Mercer hadn't left the city. He hadn't hidden either. He simply moved, slowly, silently, through the markets, through the alleys, through the dust. He carried no weapon, still limped, still wore the same jacket. But people started moving out of his way. Not from fear, from respect. One morning, before sunrise, the city's security systems detected a spike in comms traffic near the outer walls. Commander Brawl Voss received. The alert encrypted signals pirate code. Too fast for civilians. He sounded a minor warning. Troops moved to the gates. Cole was already there. Brawl arrived with a squad of 6 guards. He found Cole kneeling in the dirt outside the eastern wall. He was drawing lines with a broken stick. "Mercer," Brawl said, "why are you outside the perimeter?" Cole didn't look up. "They're testing your defenses," he said. 5 scouts, 1 signal runner, probably more waiting on their signal. Brawl frowned. "How do you know that?" Cole stood slowly and pointed at the edge of the ridge. "Because I used to do the same thing." The guards scanned the area. Nothing on their sensors. Brawl turned to argue, but then a shape moved beyond the rocks. A single masked figure ran low to the ground, vanishing into a bush. Before Brawl could speak, Cole was already moving. No weapon, just speed. 2 minutes later, Cole returned, dragging the unconscious scout by the collar. "Intercepted before he made the call," he said. He dropped the pirate at Brawl's feet and walked away. The next morning, the city's power grid surged. Someone had tried to overload the generators from a hidden console near the central water pumps. Guards arrived too late. But Cole was already waiting beside the open fuse panel, holding 2 burnt wires. "Timed hack," he said. "Remote." But lazy, he handed them a small device. "Next time, move your cameras higher." Then he walked off again. Quiet, unreadable. By the 3rd incident, even Brawl stopped asking how Cole knew. A bomb hidden inside a delivery drone? Diffused. A sniper positioned above the North Market? Tied to a post before the guards even arrived. No alarm, no warning. No panic. Just one man who seemed to know the future. In a council meeting, panic broke out. "This is unnatural," one alien shouted. "He works faster than our own command." "He takes no orders," another argued. "And yet, no civilians are dying," said the elder Sorvadell. The chamber quieted. She leaned forward. "You keep asking why he doesn't wait for permission." She paused, eyes serious. "Has it occurred to you that maybe he's already decided what's right and wrong?" Back in the streets, a young Valtorian guard named Revik ran up to Cole. "Sir, Mr. Mercer." Cole turned slowly. Revik saluted. "I was told you might be able to help me train, with traps and enemy tactics." Cole stared at him for a long second, then handed him a string, a rusty nail, and a packet of sugar. Revik blinked. "What am I supposed to?" Cole began walking. "Figure it out." Later that day, Revik caught 2 thieves using the trap he built with those simple pieces. Word spread, and soon more guards came to Cole, not with fear, but with notebooks. They stopped seeing him as just an old soldier. They started seeing him as something else. One night, Brawl found him on the roof of the old mining office, staring at the stars. "You're not supposed to be up here," Brawl said quietly. "I know," Cole replied. Brawl sat beside him. "I hated you at first." "I know. I thought you were reckless." Cole nodded. "I was. Once. Brawl looked at him. But not now. Cole smiled faintly. No, now I'm deliberate. There was silence between them. Then Brawl asked, "Why do you help us?" Cole didn't answer right away. He looked down at the city, the people, the children. "I've followed orders my whole life," he said. "Some good, some not. But now, I only move when it's right." He stood and walked toward the stairwell. "And when it's right, I don't wait." The next day, a message was intercepted from a pirate command ship. It read, "Cancel the Valter run. The human is still active. He doesn't answer to anyone, and we don't want to find out what happens when he stops playing nice." The name. Cole Mercer had started to echo beyond Myrack's hold. It slipped through comm channels, leaked into pirate briefings, and appeared in red-marked bounty lists that most people never saw. And one day, it reached the desk of Varco Dren. Varco Dren wasn't just a pirate. He was a syndicate boss. A three-eyed warlord who controlled entire trade routes and smuggler fleets. His voice could collapse colonies. His threats could start riots. He sat in a glass tower aboard his command ship, Skullspire, looking at a blinking red name on his screen. Target: Cole Mercer, species human, retired. Location: Valtor 6. Note: no confirmed kills, no surviving attackers. Operates alone. Varco laughed. Old man with an attitude. He leaned back and waved to his second-in-command. "Send a message. Let's rattle the grave." The next day, a black box arrived at the gates of Myrack's hold. No courier, no drone. Just there. Inside was a silver data pad. Commander Brawl activated it. A hologram flickered to life. Varco Dren's face filled the air, smiling, smug. "To the one called Cole Mercer, this world is under my eye now. Leave or be buried in its dirt. Retired or not, everyone dies eventually." The message ended with a sharp beep, then silence. Brawl looked around, but Cole was already gone. 2 hours later, a massive explosion shook the jungle 30 miles away. A syndicate weapons cache, hidden under false ID, erupted into flames. Security. Drones caught blurry footage. A figure walked away from the fire. Calm. Alone. Limping slightly. A second explosion hit a communications relay in orbit. No one claimed it. No one needed to. That evening, Varco Dren received his own message, a single photo. It showed Cole Mercer sitting on a bench outside a fruit stand, holding a cup of coffee, with a small child asleep beside him. In the background, a red mark had been spray-painted on the wall. "Try again, I'm still thirsty." Panic swept through the Skullspire bridge. Where did this image come from? Varco demanded. No one knew. No one had seen anyone near the comms terminal. Varco slammed his fist against the console. "Send down a drop team. 10 men, armored, no mercy." His second-in-command swallowed hard. "They'll die," Varco growled. "Then send 20. But no one made it to the surface. Their dropship malfunctioned mid-descent. Systems fried by a strange pulse no one could trace. The wreckage was found days later. No bodies, just helmets, arranged in a neat circle. In the center, a metal plate. From the drop pod, with 2 words etched into it. "Go home." On Valter 6, the air was quiet. Cole stood in the ruins of the old freight yard. One by one, he placed small boxes into the ground. Old traps, disarmed mines, tracker jammers. Why? "Bury them?" asked Revik, the young guard who had started following him. Cole didn't stop moving. "Because pirates plant things." "But you already stopped them." Cole looked up. "They haven't learned yet." In the council chambers, another emergency meeting was called. "This is war," one shouted. "This is escalation," another barked. But Elder Sorvadell raised her voice. "No. This is what happens when you threaten someone who's already seen too much war." She turned to Brawl. "Earth never stopped making warriors. They just stopped putting them in chains." Back in orbit, Varco Dren stared at the blinking screen. It now read, "Cole Mercer, status untouchable." He slammed the screen off. "Pull out of the sector," he barked. "Blacklist Valter 6. His second-in-command hesitated. What do I tell? The men? Varco gritted his teeth. Tell them Earth doesn't retire soldiers. When he stood, eyes dark. They released them. The next morning, Cole sat in the cafe. Same table, same drink, same silence. Brawl approached and sat down across from him. You took out an orbital relay. Cole stirred his coffee. It was noisy. You set a pirate syndicate on fire. Cole looked up. They threatened children. Brawl leaned in. You're not here for peace, are you? Cole sipped his coffee. I'm not here for war either. He set the cup down and stood. I'm here for balance. That's what retirement gives you. He walked off, and behind him, the weight of those words settled like steel. Earth doesn't send warnings. Earth sends men like Cole Mercer. The Galactic Alliance didn't like unanswered questions. And on Valtor 6, Cole Mercer was a question they couldn't ignore any longer. Reports had come in. Unauthorized combat actions, syndicate disruption, orbital interference. No uniform. No chain of command. No apology. Earth called him retired. But to the Alliance he looked like a rogue. So they sent someone. Captain Eric Lon arrived in full dress armor, polished steel blue plates with gold trim, rank symbols gleaming, and a sharp jaw to match his attitude. He had graduated top of his class, served 5 years in deep space enforcement, and believed discipline was the only real power in the galaxy. He stepped into Myrax's hold like it belonged to him, and the people watched him quietly, not with respect, not with fear, just patience, as if waiting for something or someone. Captain, Lan stormed into the council hall without knocking. I'm here to deal with your problem, he said loudly. Where is the human? Commander Brawl Voss stood slowly. Be careful with that word. What word? Problem. Lan smirked. You let a civilian, an unregistered Earth mercenary, run your defenses. You've surrendered command. I'm here to fix that. Brawl didn't smile. He just stepped aside. He's sitting at the cafe. Corner of 1st and Spine Street. Same seat, same drink. Lan turned on his heel and marched out. Outside, the suns were high. The shadows were short. Cole Mercer sat where he always sat, worn coat, mug in hand, eyes half closed behind dark glasses. He didn't look up when Lan approached. Cole Mercer? Lan said loudly. Cole didn't move. I am Captain Eric Lan, authorized by the Galactic Alliance. You are under arrest for unauthorized military action, planetary interference, and multiple violations of peace protocol. Silence. People paused nearby. Some stopped walking. The Razorback fruit seller quietly closed her stall. Cole slowly looked up. His voice was calm. You done talking? Lan stiffened. This is an official order. Cole set down his cup. I stopped taking orders 20 years ago. Lan's hand moved to his sidearm. This is your last warning. Cole stood up, slowly, like someone who wasn't in a hurry to prove anything. You draw that weapon, he said, and I'll teach you why Earth doesn't retire cowards. Lan's face turned red. You think you're above the law? No, Cole said. I'm what steps in when the law shows up late. Lan moved, quick, but not quick enough. Cole grabbed his arm, twisted it backward, and dropped the captain to one knee before the weapon even cleared its holster. The crowd didn't cheer. They didn't gasp. They just watched, like they had seen it coming all along. Cole leaned close to Lan's ear. Let me explain something, Captain. You wear armor, I wore scars. You studied rules, I buried friends. You came here to arrest a man who already let go of fear, rank, and politics. He let go of Lan's arm and stepped back. I'm not the enemy, but I know how to make enemies disappear. Lan stood, shaking slightly. You're insane. Cole nodded. Most retired humans are. But we're also honest. Later, in the security tower, Lan sat with a cold compress on his arm. He stared out the window, watching Cole walk through the market. He moves like a ghost, Lan said quietly. Brawl stood nearby. He moves like a man who remembers what war costs. That's why we let him walk free. Lan looked up. He could have killed me. Brawl nodded. He didn't. That night, Lon sent a private message back to Alliance Command. Subject: Cole Mercer status. Not a threat. Recommendation: no further action. Do not engage, do not provoke, do not interrupt. Additional note: Earth's retired don't need permission. They just need a reason. And somewhere in the darkness, Cole sat sharpening a small combat knife on a flat stone. He wasn't preparing for a fight. He was remembering. Because men like him don't wait for war. They prepare for peace to end. Therai. Sky above Valter 6 turned darker than usual, not from clouds, from something much worse. A syndicate warship, twice the size of Myrax's hold, entered low orbit without warning. Its hull was black, shaped like a long blade. Gun ports opened like angry eyes. The people looked up. The silence that followed was sharp and cold. Commander Braal Voss stood on the security tower's upper deck, staring through binoculars. No warning, he whispered. No registration. That's not a visit, that's a message. A voice came over the citywide comm. It was deep, metallic, calm. This is the syndicate vessel Void Ember. You are harboring an Earth combatant. Deliver him within 1 hour, or we will reduce your colony to ash. The comm cut. No music, no countdown, just truth. Braal turned to his staff. Shut down all transports. Get civilians underground. What about Mercer? Someone asked. But Cole Mercer had already left the city. He stood alone on a flat plain 5 kilometers east of the walls. The wind moved slowly through the dry grass. He wore no armor. He carried no rifle, just an old backpack and a small comm unit. He looked up at the ship, a shadow crawling across the sky, and he whispered, "Let's finish this." Inside the warship's command deck, Captain Vrex sneered. Target is exposed. Standing still, typical human bravado. His second-in-command leaned in. We have full visuals. No backup, no support. Should we drop a pod and take him alive? Vrex shook his head. No. Burn the field. Make an example. In Myrax's hold, the city shook as the ship's weapons charged. From the safety bunkers, children covered their ears. Adults held their breath, and Braal stood watching, teeth clenched. I told you, he muttered. He doesn't run. In the field, Cole Mercer knelt down and pulled a worn device from his bag. It looked old, rusted, Earth-made. He flipped a switch. 3 seconds later, the sky screamed. The void. Ember's forward cannon suddenly burst from within. Fire erupted. From its side, one engine failed, then another. The great ship spun slightly, systems stuttering. Inside, chaos erupted. Sir, internal explosion on deck 3. Fire on the left stabilizer. Something's inside the system. We're being jammed, Captain Vrex roared. Where did it come from? Back on the ground, Cole stood up and dusted off his coat. That's Earth tech, he said to no one. We built it ugly, but it never forgets. 20 years ago, he had installed orbital spike mines during a silent mission for Earth. The coordinates were never deleted, and he'd never told anyone, because Earth didn't erase soldiers. It just gave them time to think. He turned on the comm. This is Cole Mercer. You entered a planet under my watch. You brought war to civilians. That was your mistake. In the warship, Vrex snarled. What do you want? Cole replied softly. Just a walk home. He pushed one final button. A hidden launcher buried deep in the plains fired its only payload, a magnetic pulse rocket stolen decades ago from a syndicate convoy. The Void Ember tried to dodge. Too late. The explosion was not massive, but it was surgical. The warship lost propulsion, communication, and guidance. It drifted, wounded, limping toward the stars. Cole watched it rise slowly, smoke trailing behind. He didn't smile. He just turned and walked back toward the city. Inside the command center, Braal got the report. Enemy, ship disabled, no further contact. He let out a breath. One word escaped his lips. Mercer. The people gathered outside the city gates as Cole returned. No cheering, no music, just silent respect. One child held up a flower. Cole took it and placed it on a small stone by the road. "For the ones who never made it home," he said quietly. Later, that night, Braille met him at the cafe. Same seat, same drink. "You brought down a warship with memories." Cole looked at the sky. "Memories are heavy, but sometimes they're useful." Braille sat down. "You don't act like a soldier." "I'm not," Cole said. "Not anymore." "Then what are you?" Cole looked him in the eye. "I'm what Earth leaves behind when peace forgets how to last." The fires were gone, the skies were quiet, and the warship had vanished over the horizon, limping away with no pride left. But on Valtor 6, the story was only just beginning. The people didn't talk loudly about what happened. They didn't throw parades. They didn't carve statues. Instead, they watched Cole Mercer walk the streets, still limping, still quiet, still drinking that same bitter earth coffee, but now, even the wind waited for him to speak. In the central plaza, a message came from the Galactic Alliance Council. It was simple. Send report on civilian named Cole Mercer. Confirm if Earth veterans pose long-term military risk. Commander Bralvos didn't know how to answer, so he didn't write anything. He asked Cole to come in. The chamber was nearly empty. No guards, no weapons, no tricks. Cole stood in the center, arms crossed. Coat dusty Elder Sorvadell, head of the council, stepped forward. She had lived through rebellions, invasions, and power shifts. But she had never met anyone who made an entire warship retreat with old tech and quiet words. She looked at him and asked the one question the whole galaxy was whispering. What does retired mean to Earth? Cole didn't answer at first. He looked at the glass ceiling above. The twin suns filtered through softly. Then he spoke. Slowly. Simply. Retired means no more orders. No more flags. No more speeches. It means I don't follow men. Only my own line in the dirt. He stepped forward. It means I don't need a reason to stand up for what's right. But if I find one, I don't need permission either. Silence filled the room. He continued. I gave Earth my youth, my blood, my friends. Retirement isn't rest, it's freedom. Because now no one tells me who the enemy is. He turned to leave, then paused, and looked over his shoulder. You want to know what retired means? He held up his hand, fingers steady. It means this: I waited for peace, and when it didn't come, I became it. The chamber remained silent long after he was gone. Outside, no one asked what happened in that room. But word spread. They said Cole Mercer was once a soldier, then a ghost. Now something else. Not a warrior. Not a hero. Just a man who stood up when no one else did. Later that night, a message was sent to Earth from Valtor 6. Cole Mercer, human retired, actions. Prevented civilian casualties, neutralized. Pirate threat, disabled hostile warship. Request, none. Complaint, none. Status, do not assign, do not interrupt, do not pursue. Final note. Earth's most dangerous weapons don't explode. They simply wait until someone gives them a reason not to. Cole sat by the riverside, boots off, legs in the water. Revik, the young guard he had once handed a nail and some string, sat beside him. Sir, where will you go now? Cole didn't answer right away. He skipped a flat stone across the water, somewhere else that forgot how to stand. Will you come back? He smiled faintly. If they forget again, I will. And when the twin moons rose over Valtor 6, the people knew. They weren't protected by fleets. They weren't protected by walls. They were protected because somewhere out there Cole Mercer was watching.